not quite 7 in the morning. No. So it's not the 29th of February. It must be the 1st of March. Let me look. Yep. March 1, 2019. And what am I wanting to talk about to myself on the video? I want to talk about the wall and the national emergency and the creepy, disgusting local politics. So, the president declares his national emergency, and who squawks the most? And where have we seen these big busts coming out of and stuff? Same license plates that I previously noticed. So there was 2 gangs in town in 2015, 2016, 2017. And there probably still is, but everybody has their different license plates. But then when I started watching the Border Patrol show, I swear to God, at the Canada border, I saw some of the very people that have been here. And I swear to God, it feels the same with down in Mexico, some of the people that are down there. And the Canada people were coming across and they got stopped. I think they were actually from Germany. Coming across as migrant, and they had as souvenirs, 2 of the fucking gang states' license plates. And I was just like, how weird. What a weird thing to be carrying in your backpack across the border from Canada as you come here from a different country is 2 U.S. license plates. And coincidentally, from a couple of states that I think of as issue states or states where when they're in town for a game weekend, they're causing problems, then you're coming into my state. Gosh. And then, when my company was here, where was he from? He is from Maine. Which governors or senators are voting against the wall? Maine, Alaska, and today the Washington State governor came into the Democratic presidential candidacy running. California's against the wall. Florida's against the national emergency. So there you have it, the corner states, just like I had noticed on that other map. And I was like, whoa. And that was when I started really geographically tracking the events and the stuff. Man, metadata people got everything. So yeah. Oh, and North Carolina and Tennessee. And Tennessee just had that huge, appears to have had that huge monetary bust involving the marine medical cream thing. And what was Kent down from California talking about some weird thing that he was involved in with expired, expired pills from India? Is that what it was? I don't know. And then I saw that on whatever that show was where they were trying to get people to kill themselves. Where they were trying to get the mothers to kill themselves. The founders. The people that began things so that the new people, the fresh people, the young people could come in and take, what the hell was it? Not Skin Tight. Oh, Sensate. So yeah, and then there's 13 Republicans that are voting against the national emergency, and coincidentally or not, that one of them is Cathy McMorris Rodgers, Eastern Washington State. Rodgers High School is in Spokane. In what neighborhood? In Hilliard. So is Rodgers, her married name, related to Rodgers High School in Hilliard? Because Hilliard, frankly, and what road runs right through Hilliard? Farr, Farr Road. And the north-south freeway goes through somewhere, and that goes straight up to Canada. And what's Hilliard famous for besides being Hilliard? Meth. And what just got busted on that big giant shipment of meth? It was funded by people in Canada. And then coincidentally, the Eastern Washington rep, and it's all the girls. And what kind of power company do we have here? Oh, one that appears to be crooked and functions on natural gas and likes to make a big deal about that. It's just like tick, 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 tick. And these are the people that I thought I was gonna argue with and have something where they like decide that their behavior is bad enough manners that they're gonna change their manners. It's like, God. One thing I've learned about criminal behavior, and it's like probably on the line, on the level of dumbness, as when I was being like, just like one way to really piss white people off is to notice that their race, that I don't even know how I was saying it. I was saying it in such a dumb baby way, and then it's like, oh, systemic racism. Look at that. It's global. Yep, I was right. That's a problem. And then like I go online the first time back in the 90s when Windows came on, and it's like, oh, there's a lot of men out there that wish they were women and they hate us so much. And then this time I go on, I find, what's it called? The manosphere. And people saying things like womb turds and the player's handbook. And, yeah, creepy. Like you touch these tiny little pebbles and then they're just like this great big giant monster underneath. So now we're looking at the national emergency, and here's the other things about national emergencies that have been declared since 1976. So 1976 was, I think, the first year that we got taken out of our dad's house, and I got put into Louie's hands. Louie got brought into our house. My company from Maine, Alaska. So the dude comes from Maine, has a amazingly miraculously dead wife there, brings an 11-year-old that he got from the sheriff because her mom died because she was a junkie to Alaska. Lives up there on a fishing boat for forever. Talks about smuggling all the time, all the time, all the time. Goes through that thing on my porch that I see in shadow where it looks like the horse people smuggled something into his backpack, and then there was the bust. Blah, blah. And then he goes up to Alaska, has a miraculously dead girlfriend up there, and then the 11-year-old grows up 7 years later, and somehow she goes to Poland and becomes a famous surgeon saving kids and millionaire. But he's homeless here in America being a drunk. So I don't know. And obviously he's military of some kind. And he said that he was a mercenary over and over. But, you know, I mean, he was just said a lot of things and said a lot of stressful things. And in fact, yeah, last time, yeah. So there's that. And then the national emergency thing. So, okay, so Carter declares the first national emergency, like, the year that we get taken away from our sire and put into the hands of the mafia. And then I think my dog's gonna puke. Come on, Michael. Wait. they are doing their creepy poison thing, because I already knew that. I could see it from other spots, and he puked yesterday. Um, so the national emergency. So Carter declares the first one. Nobody says anything. And then we leave my dad either that year or the next year, and I'm at the mercy of the mafia, probably getting molested on hand past film. And then just as things start to settle down and I'm like 12, then Iran happens and takes the hostages, and still nobody's saying anything. And then they come out here and there's like one weird emergency after another. And if I looked in my life, I'm sure that, and not only that, but now that I looked at the list of emergencies, it's like there's a national emergency declared, and then there's people like putting it like Burundi or whatever it is, that weird one. That's the one that really sticks. I'm like, oh. So they declare a national emergency and then they put it up in everyone's face or in target people's face to get us to react in some desired way. And apparently I either have or haven't. I don't know whether I have or haven't. Who knows how I react compared to what they want for their target. But I was just like, oh. And so this is probably the first time in my life that a president has declared a national emergency that's actually not designed to harm me and is designed probably, I don't know. I don't know what the national emergencies do, but they do something, because you can tell, because the people that are having a shit fit about it don't care about the money at all. They don't care about the money. They just don't want the wall, because a physical wall is what's going to stop their bullshit. A physical wall, because otherwise it's nothing. The reason that I can know people are coming in and out of my house is because I have a physical observation device. And then I still don't even always know, because, well, actually I'm up there in the 90 percentiles. I mean, you can pretty much tell, but there's ways of not being able to tell. I'm not going to go into it. But they don't even care, because they don't come in that much, because they've so thoroughly been through my house. They know where stuff is more than I know where stuff is, for one thing. They want something, they just come in, they open the door, they're like, fuck you, we know you can't tell which one of us it is. Then they just come in and take whatever they want, do whatever they want, and leave. And then I just know that they've been in here. So yeah. But without a physical thing, I wouldn't even have that. I wouldn't know until I came upon whatever it is. And then I'd have to wonder, like, gosh, were they in here? Were they not in here? Because they own all the technology. So having some sort of like technological barrier is just like a pretend barrier and giving them the key. Here you go. Here you go. You own our borders now. I don't fucking think so. So yeah, they don't care at all about the money, because frankly, I've been watching them vote for that border, for the construction of that border wall, since 1998. Clinton. And everybody wanted it if it was a threat against me. And you can tell how local it is, because this is a powerful state. But yeah, that will stop their bullshit on the bottom. And then I guess something is going on up here at the top too to stop it. But you can see where like all the problems are. It's like, oh my God, every freaky political situation has to do with, I guess you would call it a migration corridor. And so when did Dave die? Dave died when he brought in his maps and showed me the migration corridors that go up and down the West Coast, which is inland of the Cascades, which coincidentally is the Inland Empire, which is the Inland Empire Gang, which you can tell at least from the Southern California part, and kind of up here too, I guess. That's what's going on. But down in the Southern California part, like by Magic Mountain and stuff, they say that there's a lot of like devil worship and sacrificing and stuff. And there is definitely a weird, creepy vibe in some of those back canyon areas in that area of California and down into Arizona. And I guess over into Nevada. I don't know. It's one of those places where I can't really tell where I am. But you can feel how creepy it is. And coincidentally, that's where they had those parents that they picked up that had those kids, 13 kids, to the bed. So yeah, I'm just like watching all this stuff. I just feel like my jaw is dropping all the time. I'm just like, you know, holy crap. And what's going on local? At the food bank, I noticed that the pasta is boxed in a box that says Colombia. And the clerk seems comfortable and happy. And the sad tool lady looks pretty sad. And we have snow as if it's like December 30 years ago instead of the 1st of March. Now, I mean, we haven't had this much snow for years and years, and certainly not in February, so it's pretty interesting to look at that. I gotta go get mindful. Yeah. So it's super creepy to see all this. And I knew that Amy Goodman was somehow connected because Paul McPullen would just be like, and yeah. So all these national emergencies, and nobody says a thing. Nobody says a thing. And frankly, they're pretty weird national emergencies. And this national emergency that and everybody is freaking out. I mean, all the powerful people in the powerful states are flipping out. And what's going on with the infanticide and fucking Virginia? That place is insane, which is hilarious because I think of that at Fairfax, Virginia, as one of the other faxes that goes with Colfax here, Interfax, which is the thing in Russia, Halifax, which I guess is up in Canada, and then I can't find the 5th fax. I did at one point, but then I didn't write it down and I forgot it. So there's a lot of geography. There's a lot of creepy genealogy, and frankly, they're talking about some stuff where I cannot figure out what the hell is going on with that post-birth abortion thing. I'm just like, and if people are asking me, no, I've never had a post-birth abortion. I did give birth, stillbirth, with crushed hips and a crushed jaw and a crushed leg, but there was no heartbeat. That was why they cut holes in me, was to stick the stethoscope in there and stuff like that. And I still would rather for those infants that they are safe. There's no sin on the babies. And then they are safe back, I hope. On the other hand, with my dog, there is some shit that I've been wondering about what kind of weird shit they're experimenting on a bio-quantum level, and I didn't say nothing about this. Nothing, because it's far too weird, and I'm worried about being judged on my mental health, and it's just far too weird of a thing to speculate on, even though I know some stuff. And then I'm like, Alex Jones and that guy, and I didn't even get to this part. I just got to the part about the brain parasites, potential possible brain parasites, which of course if you did have brain parasites, it definitely would affect your emotions and the toxins. I mean, we're a biological, a chemical, the chemical levels of different chemicals. So if you got something in there creating chemicals, I mean, you got basically a psychotropic worm. But Could be a micro-sized worm. I'm not saying that you would open the brain and see worms. Like, so the rest of it that I heard that they talked about, which I'm going to go back and watch the rest of that podcast. I'm just a tiny bit into the 4 hours. I mean, I'm like 15 minutes, 20 minutes into it. And the reviews that I heard from other places, they're, again, I think they're talking, I mean, they're literally and theoretically pulling up National Geographic magazines where they're talking about experiments creating human animal hybrids. I don't know if it's gossip. I have not found or even looked for at this point, although I will, any kind of National Geographic thing online. And if I did see it online, I would still question it and still want to like go to the library and get a hold of a hard copy of the supposed edition of National Geographic that it was on and see something outside of cyberspace in analog before I 100% believed it. Although if I saw enough of it online, I might. I don't know. The thing is that I didn't say anything to anybody about my suspicions at all, and I haven't because it's just completely too bizarre. And I mean, I suppose I've hinted at it a little bit, but who could I hint at a little bit to? Not very many people. And then yes, I got to go back and finish listening to that podcast because there is some super weird. I knew it. I knew it. I mean, they're doing social experiments. They're doing biological experiments. And I know this can't really even get anywhere. So I'm not even really worried about saying anything because this whole phone is just taken over by the creepy people that already know stuff. So I shouldn't even say they. I should say you guys. You creepy people. And so I think that's why you want to do this post-birth abortion thing, because you know that somehow they've created or something that somehow you're something is going on. And you're afraid that you're going to be giving birth to, I don't know what. And then North Korea, that video where all those people are not making eye contact. They're talking about organs harvesting, and he won't give up his alleged nuclear facilities. And I mean, he's got his economy made out of something. People are buying what? People buy large amounts of meth, fentanyl, and apparently now there's quite a large market for human organs and human tissues. And so what it felt like when I watched that video, besides the fact that that kind of eye contact is exactly the kind of eye contact that my entire community has been trying to force on me my whole life. Like I'm supposed to like look away from all the people that might look at me. Then and they're held by laws. So if I look them in the eye, they can't just disappear me and harvest my organs. But in North Korea, Chairman Kim is the only boss of the whole country, and look what happened to Adam Warmbier. I'm not saying he did or didn't deserve it. I think that going to someone else's country and ripping down posters and being an asshole like that at least deserves public flogging, but Mike Pompeo says public flogging is not civilized. But the Bible says that you're supposed to like do really fast punishment so that the kids can learn, so that you connect. we disconnect. We disconnect everything here. So our punishments are disconnected from our crimes. We don't even know what the fuck's going on. It's stupid. But anyway, Adam Warmbier aside, besides looking at, look, he ripped down a poster, ended up dead. So yeah, what would happen? And their shopkeepers have the same social status, um, job status as our physicians and neurosurgeons, and all the service industries are filled by these what looks like Korean Stepford women, because they all look exactly the same. And I notice in the crowds of people, not all North Korean people look the same, but all the women in the service positions look the same. And they look like old-fashioned stewardesses where they're meeting certain physical requirements before they can get the job. And they don't look like they feel like they're doing a service. Like, I don't know what the deal is. But like all the attendants are women. And so then and military looks like a mix, but if you were in a place where you could just get disappeared, like I don't know, where would they get put? They get put into like in facilities and be making whatever. We're saying nuclear weapons, but it could be drugs. I think there must be hidden meth manufacturing facilities and other stuff. I don't know. I'm proud of President Trump for trying to give it a chance and set the Korean people free without any more massacres. But and I'm super glad. I could tell that was the way it was gonna happen anyway, so I wasn't surprised. There's a lot going on in the world. Now I'm done talking to myself. I'm gonna go rescue Mindful. He thinks he's like so